All right. So this is our company, Unlimited SkyStack. If you hear the name Unlimited, and if you look at our slogan, learning keeps you in the lead, because we believe so much in learning, Conmon, always the test of knowledge and keep learning, then you definitely be in the lead. So that's our slogan if you visit our website with the name Unlimited SkyStack. So our domain name is Unlimited, S for Sam, T for Tom. So unlimitedst.com. That's our domain name. And what set us apart from other organizations first is that we are being recognized nationwide by the National Initiative of Cybersecurity Careers and Studies. NICE stands for National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies. It's a comprehensive cybersecurity training and education catalog provided by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, within the United States Department of Homeland Security. That's DHS. It offers a wide range of cybersecurity courses, training programs, and resources for individuals seeking to enhance their cybersecurity skill and knowledge. And just to tell you that you need to meet certain criteria for your school or organization to be listed on their website. If you go to their website, you have our school listed there, all the courses that we offer, and then our domain name that you can redirect you back to our own website. So we are being recognized nationwide by them. And then secondly, we are also a CompTIA authorized academic partner. I don't know if somebody's new. CompTIA is a leading IT organization that issues certifications. And being an academic partner means that our training solely aligns with that of CompTIA. As a matter of fact, our curriculums, even their labs, we literally get everything from CompTIA, such that when student finishes their Security Plus training, we issue them or give them exam vouchers. And likewise, if they complete their CYSA course, we also issue exam vouchers. So at this point, we offer 3 courses. Everything compliance, where I do take that, as if we can go to the next slide. Everything compliance is me, and then I have my co-worker, colleague, Tim Ferdinand is my colleague. So Alfred and Priscilla, please, you guys are thinking of those, right? Okay, kind of distract me. All right, so for those who might not know me, I am Eunice Abura. I'm Eunice Abura. I am the founder of Unlimited SkyStack. Also, originally, I'm from Cameroon, West Africa. I didn't put here, I have a bachelor degree in zoology, animal study. Then I transitioned into IT when I moved to the US. As I said, we offer 3 courses. So I did take the compliance session. We're going to go in depth to see what it entails. Everything compliance related, from going through all the different regulatory authorities, frameworks. I did cover that with your hands-on projects. As a matter of fact, if you guys have some questions, we do have some current students here that they can tell you guys better about our training. And then I also have a master's degree in information technology. Actually started my IT career as an Oracle DBA, held 2 positions as a technical lead and senior consultant, then working as a cybersecurity consultant. And I've had a lot of different titles, like a lead role, an ISO role, and others. While on the other side, I have my colleague Tim that I would say he's the most technical person I've ever met in my entire life. So after my compliance session, he's the one that takes students on CompTIA Security Plus and the CompTIA CISA. So he also has a master's in cybersecurity technology. He's a university lecturer. Some of his titles include senior consultant. He's a pen tester, a big one. Senior system engineer. He's an ISO, currently working as an ISO information system security owner. He's also a website developer. If you have a business that you need someone to develop it for you, he's a great person to work with. Actually, he developed and designed our website. and he's also a certified e-counsel instructor. Did someone say something? Okay. Then talking about recognitions, I'm not going to talk more about him. You know, he only comes later in the program for paid student, but this is a free session. Just want to give you guys an overview or background about who really we are. I, for one, I have 3 recognition. The very first one, I am a member of the National Security of Leadership and Success. I am also a member of the Worldwide Women's Association. And I'm also a member of the Upsilon Pi Epsilon, that's the International Honor Society of Computing and Information Discipline. So welcome to our free cybersecurity training session. We're gonna start. And before we start, I would just like to get your thought, guys. If you can talk, I really appreciate it. Let's make this interactive. And that's why I have the main point or title, Engaging with Cybersecurity. And a question to some of you or everyone here, what comes to mind when you hear the word cybersecurity? I'd like to hear your thought on that. What comes to mind when you hear the word cybersecurity? Anyone want to give it a try?
Protection of digital assets.
Protection of what?
Digital assets.
Okay, digital asset. Okay, so Shana said protection of digital asset. I'm going to take note. That we will get there. We'll see. Who else want to try? Someone want to try?
Safeguarding sensitive data.
Safeguarding sensitive data. Okay. All right. Okay, safeguarding sensitive data and protection of digital asset. All right. So I have 3 bullet points. I said first, your first impressions or thoughts, any concern or question you might have about it, and any experiences you've had with cybersecurity. Before we understand security or IT, the first thing that we need to consider, this is actually the backbone of everything. Data. First, again, as I said, I'm from West Africa, so I definitely have an accent. So people call it data, some people call it data. So I don't know which one you are. I think I use it interchangeably, right? So I'll go with data for now. So tell me, when you hear the word data, what comes to mind? What do you understand by this word data? I'd just like to get your thought, guys.
Can I try?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I think data is related to information.
It's related to information. So what's information?
That's another one. Let me think about it.
Okay. While she's thinking about it, who wants to try?
I was just going to say data is information, but maybe
What's information?
an asset,
What's an asset?
something precious to us.
So are we
So
getting it
data-
right? Yes, go ahead, please.
Data is anything that is written or compiled that is not readily understandable. Information is data that is translated into something that can be understood. That is information.
Alfred, what's your data again, please? Something that cannot be understood?
Data, yeah, it could be anything written or that doesn't give information, basically.
Doesn't give information. So, okay, so homework for us is to understand. That's a homework because 3 answers so far. You guys are data is information. Information is data. So that's the homework for all of us. We need to understand the difference between information and data. All right. So give me an example of data. What are some of the examples of data you don't imagine?
The number of people who graduate college in Texas, that could be a kind of data.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what else? All right. Data
Fiction?
refers to individual facts, statistics, or pieces of information collected through observation, measurement, or research. Here, we are transmitting data over what? Over which medium are we transmitting data? And in what form does that data exist right now?
Digital?
How? Which medium? I don't want to use
Internet,
the word.
internet,
What else again?
Zoom.
Thank you. Right. I don't want to say what technology are we using, right? And that's why I say which medium. So right now we are over Zoom and we are transmitting data. I'm talking to you or you guys are talking to me. This is data. And it's which form, right? We are transmitting the data over the internet. And guess what? Realize that I'm also recording this session, right? So this data, at the end of the day, will store it in a form of a record. So you might have a data in a form of a text, like you have a data in a form of a number, right? Example, maybe your social security number, your date of birth, right? Go to your bank, you have, your asset or your money, right? Maybe in numbers. So those are all different form of data, or even pictures, right? These are all different form of data. And we need to have a good understanding of data. The risk of me bringing this is that by the time we start talking of information technology, at the end of the day, in a nutshell, we are talking about data, right? So it doesn't matter where in IT you work, still we are a family. We work collectively together to make sure that we protect data and to make sure that data will be available at any given point in time. But we'll definitely go in depth, shortly. Any question on this slide, please? Are we good? Awesome. I believe I'll take a silence for a yes. All right. So now that we understand what data or data is all about, now we also want to understand data in cybersecurity and IT. And that's why I want to first of all stop here. Guys, we know of IT, information technology. What is IT? What's information technology? I've seen a lot of people say that, I am in IT, I have a career in IT, but what exactly is IT? Put in a way where a commoner, somebody with no prior IT background will understand what's IT. Kristen, you want to try?
Yeah, the use of different computer systems.
Use of different computer system. Okay, that's IT. What else? Yeah, Christy said the use of different computer systems. What else? All right. Yes, go ahead. Is it Ita? Or no? All right. So the best way I can put it for us to understand is when you hear the word IT, information technology, information in a nutshell, data, right? And that's what I was trying to understand Alfred when he said data is not readable, and I don't know what he said, but information, you start talking about data, the different data type that makes an information, right? An information. That's whatever information is it, whatever data is it. It can be your home address, it can be your your email addresses, your first name, your last name, whatever. Those are the different type of information we have. Technologies, the different tools used to collect, to process, and house that information. We need to understand this critically, because this, we're going to define what cybersecurity is all about, and then we're going to link it with other IT domains or sector, okay? So information, again, the word information is just data. Technologies are the different tools. Who can give me an example of a tool that you feel like you have used? I guess some of you are already in some form of IT, or maybe not even in IT, but your job. What are some of the tools that you have used? Who can give me an example?
Computer?
What computer? It's an information system. So let's start talking about the different tools.
What about Qualys?
Qualys, excellent. Yes, use Qualys. That's a little bit advanced. So can you tell them what Qualys is, if you don't mind? I don't think some of them have used Qualys.
It's a vulnerability assessment tool used to be to look for vulnerabilities in IP addresses.
Exactly. So what are other tools that some of you in project management role or Scrum Master, what are some of the tools you've used?
Servers.
What is a server? Or what are servers?
I mean, I could say Burp Suite, but I haven't used it. I know it's like used by penetration tester or like web developer.
Tracy, are you in cybersecurity by chance?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, because yeah, I've used BuzzFeed anyways, yes. What else? What of Zoom? I don't want us to think. Let's not even go out of the box, right? Right now we are using Zoom, right? Some of you have used Jira. Some of you have used Teams to communicate. Maybe you guys have Slacks, you guys have Teams. What of WhatsApp that people communicate? What of Facebook? Oh, no, Facebook is an application. That's an information system. But now I'm talking of all the different tools. WhatsApp is an application, sorry. Teams, Slack, Zoom, all the different tools that she mentioned, like Qualys, Besud and the rest, Nessus Scan and the rest, we have Nessus. So information, IT, information, that's like data. Tools are all the different, again, as I've said, the different technology that literally collect, processes, or house data, right? And when we start talking of asset, right? Data again. Oh, I have like 3 messages. I don't know if they're for me. Sorry. Okay. Okay. All right. We're talking of like critical assets, right? I know somebody talked of protection of digital assets. Cybersecurity go beyond that, not only digital asset. I'm going to see that shortly. Okay, so you have critical asset. Think of that thing that you might have in your house that is really valuable, critical. I think we all have those, right? Me, I think my most critical asset, I don't even know, I think it's my social security number. How about you guys? I don't know. So that's one of the things I know. I don't know where it is right now, but I know it's somewhere that I need to go and find it myself. So I mean, like, that's one of my most critical assets, right? Because in security world, any system that literally collects social security number automatically is a critical system. Okay, so think of that valuable asset that you have in your house that you feel like, you know what, this is either for me and my significant other, or your husband or your kid, but no one outside your family circle can have access to those critical assets. And there are different types of data. We have structured data, where, again, it comes in the form of a database. And that reminds me, I believe we must have heard the word database. What do you understand by database? What's a database? You hear the word data still. We have data, and then we have a base. So the two words comes together, they say database. So who can tell me what a database is? Can somebody try?
Where you store data?
Absolutely. So many a times where they've hacked an organization, things have happened. Database is one of the most critical asset or in an organization, and it should be in their local area network, like in their innermost room. Okay. And if you hear the word database, base is like storage, right? It's just like you have a flower vase. That vase, you literally store your flowers. So a base. So you have data now in 3 different formats, right? You have data in transit, data at rest, and data in use. So in the case of a database, everything again, all the data, all the information that we'll be mentioning, they are being stored or housed in the database. And that's why you hear the word a base. Okay? They are being housed in a database right there. Then, you know what? So all those data that are being stored, they are being stored in the database. Then you also have data in transit. We hear the word data in transit. What does it mean? You can give me an example of a data in transit.
Data going across the network.
Absolutely, right. Like you guys, I'm able to communicate you guys. I'm sending something over the internet and then you guys will receive it either on Facebook. I don't know where you got the link, either on Facebook or somebody share with you or it's an email, but I definitely transmitted those over internet, right? And then we have data in use. For example, this PowerPoint right now, this is data in use, right? Because I have it on, like it's literally in use. So these are the different forms that, or their formats that data actually exists. And we need to understand all of this before we even go into security, right? Why you have unstructured data where, I don't know, somebody's calling me. We have unstructured data that comes in the form of emails, videos, or maybe media posts, again, but it's not structured. But at the level of the database, you have data is really structured because it comes in the form of table, rows, columns, like you can definitely have it. It's well structured, sorry. All right, so talking about that, then I think the next slide. So we want to now understand cybersecurity. Right. We'll talk about information technology. Again, the best way anyone can understand information, the data, technology, the different tools used to either transmit, house, or access this, or process the data. So talking about cybersecurity, they said, is the protection of information system. Oh, I'm trying to join the class for cybersecurity. I'm not. Who is this though? Guys, 1 minute. Let me just send a link to the person. Oh, some people say they are not able to join. I thought I sent the link. Guys, give me 1 minute. Sure. All right. So cybersecurity is the protection of information system. And when you hear the word information system, they said, like, for example, applications, those are all information system. Who can give me an example of an application? Who knows what an application is? WhatsApp is an application. And what's an application? Because we need to understand this. They said cybersecurity is a protection of information systems, right? It's a protection of information system. We get a word. So an information system is, again, anything that processes, collect, or house data. My goodness, people, no, you guys cannot be calling me like that. Anything that processes, house, or collects data. So for example, I guess some of you actually got me off Facebook. Facebook is an application. It stores data, it collects data, it processes data. Then I want us to start thinking of the different and thousands of applications that or information system that organizations have. right? For example, you might have a system like the identity management system where users logging in or accessing an organization asset, like some of us that works from home, it doesn't matter where you work. Again, you have that particular system that has to authenticate you. So that is an information system. So the mistake that some of us get is people feel like when you're working for the organization, you just work like that. No, many a times you are working for maybe a specific information systems. And we're going to see that, right? Like me, I work with a lot and different information systems right now. I'm a contractor with the US government, right? Even my last year, I was a manager. I worked for just 2 information systems, just 2. But start thinking now, like go out of the scope. Think of all the different information systems that our organization have. For example, Zoom is an information system. Slack is an information system. Okay? Jira is an information system. I think Tracy, you mentioned Quelles is an information system. Berksuite is an information system. So as security folks, we need to make sure that all the different information systems are being protected, but it doesn't end there. They said it's the protection of information system and their underlying IT infrastructure. Underlying IT infrastructure. So we start talking of the underlying IT infrastructure, we start referring of the databases, operating systems, as well as network devices. I think, for instance, you start mentioning about your server and network devices. It actually comes here. Okay, so the protection of all information system and the IT infrastructure, where you start talking of the databases, the operating system, as well as the network devices. Again, we are not just doing this. We have 3 main core security principles. I think we must have heard the principle of CIA Triad, right? You are doing this to achieve confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And we're going to see that shortly. So security is really interesting because when we start hearing that, oh, an organization has been hacked, then security will have to analyze what kind of breach or impact level. What's the impact level for confidentiality, or what's the security risks? Say integrity has been breached, confidentiality has been breached, or availability, right? It's not just a matter of data breach. And we need to understand this concept. You need to understand the CIA Triad. Then you'll be able to understand this. And the CIA Triad actually is the foundation and backbone of information technology. That's IT. Okay, so if cybersecurity ensures that these information systems are being protected, I want us to think of it. Think of just one information system. For example, say you work at a hospital, you have an information system that collects patients' demographic data, their hospital record. By default, they collect your social security number. Okay, that system is already a high system. I'm saying it because I work with a lot of critical systems. By default, the system is really a critical and high system. Do you know how many cybersecurity people they will need just to say you want to access security controls to access that particular system? It's a lot. I've had systems where all the security control access, so you have up to like 20 to 25. Because in most cases, when you have a high system like that, the number of security controls that goes there, this is like things that we do like really hands-on project, okay? By the time you have a high system like that, you have nothing. I'm telling you, nothing less than about 2,000 controls has to go to just that one system. 2,000. So do you think one cybersecurity force will be able to access 2,000 controls? When? How? And that's why they have to split the load. And then come to think of all the hundreds of information systems that organizations have, right? Think of all the controls they have in place. And it's not just about controls. What happened to your users? What happened to the people accessing the system? Do you have policies for those systems? Are you doing continuous monitoring, like Tracy said? Are you guys scanning those systems? Are you remediating your vulnerabilities? Are you patching it? I want us to see how security Still, it's not just a matter of you being a technical person. All of this come from a compliance standpoint. Once you know what you are doing, you are good to go. It's that easy. Okay. And then talking about the different IT infrastructure. I was once a DBA, a database administrator. Many a time, my manager would tell me, Eunice, we have to patch our databases. I wouldn't know why. I know we have to patch it to resolve bug fixes, but I didn't know well that particular command was coming. You guys need to do that. Actually, security people are the one doing it. They'll tell database administrator, make sure you patch your databases because we scan those databases. We consider a database as an information system, right? And hopefully, like the fourth class, we'll learn how to categorize information system where we can identify the type of controls that goes there. Okay, so telling us to patch the databases, security is the one telling them. Security is the one telling people to do awareness training or even setting the set of questions that users need to answer. I believe all of us, it doesn't matter where you work. Even you are a CNA, the very first you have to go through the policy set, right, where you have to answer those questions to understand an organization's policy and what they do. That's coming from security and it's mandatory for all users. It doesn't matter who, right? And then all the network devices, we're going to go there. Start thinking of all the network devices that network engineers, they do manage those, but still security, we still oversee whatever thing that they do. So in a nutshell, security actually calls the shot. Okay. So we'll go to this next slide. And guys, if you have any question, let me know. If, again, as I said, I do have an accent. If you feel like I know I talk fast. If you want me to slow down, please let me know. I appreciate that. Then this is just a virtual view of all the different information systems that we can imagine. And that's why I said, let's think of all the different information systems that an organization have. We are not just talking of maybe 20, 30, 40. No, right? These are a lot of information system that our job, we call it CONMON, continuous monitoring, is never ending. And I might just pause here. I said that with the whole development of AI, artificial intelligence, and automations, why it is taking some jobs away and potentially some sector or domains in cybersecurity is a good thing for compliance. Okay, because those AIs, at the end of the day, are collecting and processing data. So it's not just something that they have it as that is it. We need to also make sure they have the necessary security controls. We need to make sure that, again, train those users who are accessing those or using that particular AI, and then we are assessing the control continuously. We are scanning, we are remediating vulnerabilities. So it's literally a continuous monitoring work. My job right now is it's one of those jobs that is just redundancy, assessing controls. You keep doing it over and over and over and over again because there will always be vulnerabilities. Okay. And then if we look at the different network devices, come to think of all of these, right? With our definition, we said we protect information system and the underlying IT infrastructure. So start thinking of all the different network devices that an organization have to ensure a smooth flow or communication of data. You might have switches, you might have routers, there are plenty of them. Security makes sure these are well protected, okay? And likewise, going to this, you have different servers, right? Information again, security ensures even the people or the users accessing these devices or this information system, make sure they also receive training, make sure they have the necessary privileges to access that particular information system. That being said, any question, guys? Are we all good? Let me get a thumb up to know at least I am making sense. We good? Thank you, Naomi. Hi. Thank you, Tracy. Though I can't see on my screen, that's fine. Thank you, Winston. All right. So something about networking, it says it involves designing, implementing, and managing networks that allow data to be shared or communicated. And the keyword I actually highlighted is data still. And that's where we need to understand, even when we are going to IT, we need to understand the different functions or roles or responsibilities as to what we will be doing. So this guys ensures that I know there's that flow of data, the level of the network is that of data package, right? You have incoming data and outgoing data. And one of their tools that they use, they literally configure everything. And from security standpoint, some people use not even some people, you have like Wireshark that you can definitely analyze the network package, right? But still, if you see their primary focus is ensuring efficient and reliable communication across devices and systems. It did not tell you about protection. It tells you about ensuring efficient and reliable communication. They want to make sure data is transmitted without any interruption, efficient and reliable. But what comes to the protection aspect, the security aspect, and that's where, in as much as they are doing that, again, security will have to supervise. Security will have to literally, oversee what these folks are doing. There's no way you see network folks doing whatever, like firewall, you have next generation firewall without security being involved. Security in a nutshell is involved in all the aspects within an organization. Okay? And then if we go to the database, we make mention of, I'm seeing some chat, protection of the CIA Triad. Thank you. Yeah, if we go to the database administrator, I said I was once an Oracle DBA. Again, still, data is still being mentioned, right? If you hear the word database, it speaks for itself, right? You see their primary function, efficient and secure data storage and retrieval. And then they do data design, performance tuning, backup and retrieval of data. Still, in the course of them doing that, security will also have to determine, by the time we even go on categorization, then you guys will understand better, right? Before you even think of bringing any database or creating a database, security will be the very first people to determine what type of data that particular database is going to be housing, right? So you don't just go and create a database. So it takes a lot of procedure before, once you determine those data, determine a set of security controls that needs to be implemented, then you have to develop your security policy that we're going to see shortly. Without any security policies, there's no organization. There's literally no organization. Okay, so this is just to tell you that in as much as we all work in this different sector, different domains, cybersecurity still remains a big part of IT and is the future of IT. And you need to be a tech-savvy person, not necessarily, you do not have to. Okay. Sysadmin. I don't know if we have any sysadmin in the house. I think Kristen talked about servers. These guys, that's their main work, right? And I think is it Shanice that talk of the protection of digital asset? And that's why I want to tell you that cybersecurity actually goes beyond that, not only digital asset, even the physical asset. We already discussed that, right? The protection of information system and the underlying IT infrastructure. These are some of the IT infrastructure we've just made mention of. We talk of like the network devices, the databases, the server, you see? And the sysadmin guys also maintain IT infrastructure that includes servers, hardware, and software. So security too also needs to make sure those hardware are protected. Okay? So, and the cost of software, security wants to make sure that you guys have up-to-date software. If you have an outdated software, that it already comes with a lot of vulnerabilities. So security will always want to make sure that an organization go with the most updated software, but it's not always the case anyways, because still organization will definitely have outdated software, right? And we'll see their roles. And then if you look at their primary focus is to ensure a smooth operation of IT system and infrastructure. And then not to waste so much time, project managers, where you have roles like Scrum Master, product owner, or whatever thing that they are doing, these guys, they just work with tools. Their role is just to communicate and make sure organizations meet their deliverables on time, maybe to even like save budget or something like that. But still, in the course of meeting with these folks, they are using the different tools to communicate and to streamline these processes, right? So once they use the different tools, I have to introduce a section in cybersecurity that really pays very well, but it's not a technical section because in one of the company I work for, I was their consultant. I guess we must have heard of third-party vendor risk analysis, right? You can go to LinkedIn, you see a lot of third-party jobs. Third-party vendor risk analysis, before an organization can bring any tools, and because that organization does not manufacture they cannot customize their own tools. So in a nutshell, we have to rely on some of these vendors, right? Bringing in Microsoft, bringing in all these vulnerability management tools, bringing in Slack, bringing in Teams, Jira, just whatever tools an organization brings that they do not customize or develop. Before an organization can onboard that particular vendor or bring in that tools, security control, third-party vendors will have to assess it. They will definitely have to assess it, and they will have to decide based on their due diligence if they want to onboard that particular vendor or not, right? And that's where I want us to see that security is not just the point of us being a technical person where you have to be scanning stuff. No, third-party vendors is just question and answers. Once you understand the regulatory authorities that your organization adheres with and the other set of regulatory authorities and security controls, you are good to go. To me, it's one of the most easiest jobs and it pays very, very well. Okay. Actually, one of my students, she got a job and she's working as a vendor risk analyst. She has a lot of things that she does. Right. So bringing all these tools, that's to tell you that you have that set of security folks that have to access it. And then it's still a continuous monitoring. So you are there, but you are actually like monitoring the security portion of your vendors. So you also start thinking, do you know how many vendors an organization might have? I work for an organization where I used to onboard on a daily basis 5 to 10 vendors. 5 to 10 vendors. So imagine on a daily basis, like that was in a school, you are onboarding all these vendors where you have kids for like their music, like it was a school system. They have all these different vendors that they keep bringing in, right? You have to onboard them. And you onboard them, it doesn't just end at that level. You have to start doing your continuous monitoring. That's a job that automation can never take it away. Because one thing we need to realize is very, very critical that you might have a very stringent security posture, but your vendor risk is your risk. Because if your vendor get hacked, definitely you get hacked, right? And come to think of the point where everybody is going to cloud. Say you fail to do your due diligence. You do not tell your users that you are accessing their data, just for them to realize, their social security number has been breached. You have a good security posture, but your vendor does not. And that's where they will still need these folks of security, the security folks to be able to, perform due diligence to ensure, this vendor can be unbonded, right? So this is just some of the areas where I really want us to literally think, as far as cybersecurity is concerned. And then one of my most interesting one that I liked is the software development. Who would have thought that one day developers will be out of the job market? AI is literally, you guys, if you are using AI, then you know that you can code, right? I don't know how to code, but if I need anything, AI will write it for me. And that's why I see some of them, they are switching to project management roles. And that's why I always tell people, conduct due diligence, know the kind of IT field you really want to choose, right? So with this, initially we always felt they were the backbone, right? Because they are the one that would develop all these different applications that will be preaching. But still, think of the fact that security is involved at every phase within an organization. We will make mention of the very first one, bringing, when you are bringing in a vendor, security have to assess the security posture of that vendor. But what happened in-house, where developers are developing code, they want to develop an application, right? And you have developers and the DevOps engineers, where the developers develop it. Yeah, where DevOps is just development and operation. Developer, they develop it, the vendors, DevOps engineer pick it up, use different tools, spin it, and then deploy it to production. And if you guys could realize, I think it was during COVID, where we have a lot of roles as Scrum Masters, product owners, where a lot of people go into the agile methodology to streamline processes, but also security plays a major role here. Because initially, we didn't have DevSecOps. Do you see? DevSecOps. We used to have just DevOps, development and operation. But we have to integrate security. Because when they develop those codes, already also come with bugs, comes with vulnerabilities. So have they implemented best security measures? Are they scanning those codes to remediate any vulnerabilities they might have? If yes, then they can make sure once they've implemented all best security practices, then they can deploy to production. As a matter of fact, my last role, what I did, I have to create a secure code review where, because I manage developers and DevOps engineer. So I have to develop that secure code review, and you have to make sure they implement it. And that's why security from compliance side, I tell you what, they will never like you. Because once you are going on compliance side, which is just if you can read and understand English, then you are good to go, because it's that easy. But to them, they find it like a lot of work. But we know what we are saying because we know of the security risks our organization is exposed to, right? So thinking of security being involved at the initial phase of the SDLC, that's a system development life cycle, right? By the time you are writing those codes, you have a measure tool that I use, I think it's Cynic, that people can check. Who is this though? I mean, they have that tool that they have to keep scanning to see if they have any vulnerabilities. And if there are any vulnerabilities, they have to remediate. Because you know why? Said initially, the organization did not implement best security practices. By the time you deploy to production, guess what? You start hearing of applications related vulnerabilities, SQL injection, buffer overflows. But that's at the level of production. Production is one of that area where we don't want anything to happen. Just imagine production, that's a live environment, right? And if you have these vulnerabilities that the bad guys can take advantage of, they can exploit it, you get, and that's why you see security still from the compliance side, literally is, guys, sorry, 1 minute, let me just send. Alfred, please check. Somebody said that they are trying to join to no avail. Alfred, did you hear me?
There's no one in the waiting room.
Okay, let me just forward their number to you and then you can follow up with them, please, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I don't understand. Why? They said they are not able to join. Your Zoom is saying you are in another meeting. What's happening? Guys, did you guys have any issues joining?
They probably join their network let them down, they didn't go through, and they didn't log out completely. They're trying to join again. That's why. So they're hitting 2-session block. So they need to close the application completely and reopen.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'll just have to turn my phone down. God, yeah, my phone is literally blowing up. All right. So with the software development, as I said, security is actually at the initial phase, right? Security will also have to make sure that they scan it. As I said, one of the two I used was Snyk that you guys can check, SYNX, to make sure that whatever vulnerability we have to remediate it before we deploy to production. Okay. And then that being said, but bear with you, the reason of us going through all of this is still to understand that data is involved, right? This data is involved and still security call a shot. Okay, security call a shot. Okay. And then logistics and supply chain. If you realize they deal mostly with forecasting, but the cost of doing that, still they have different tools that they use. And bear with you, still those tools are information system, right? Being an in-house tool or being a tool from a vendor where you onboard it. So whatever the situation might be, again, it still has to involve continuous monitoring, where if you are working as a third-party vendor, again, as I said, that is just question and answer, right? But you need to understand, have a good mastering knowledge of all the different regulatory frameworks. Once you have it, guys, I'm kidding. To me, that's one of the most easiest session in security and other domains that I know. Right. So just literally understanding, asking the right questions, reading. But one thing is that you're going to read a lot. It comes with a lot of reading. Yeah, you read, you make that decision. After you must have performed your due diligence, you have to decide if you know what, if you want to go with that particular vendor or not. Any questions so far? Are we good? Okay, I guess we're good. Then I think my next slide is why cybersecurity stand out. So I might just ask this question based on all what we've covered, went through all the different IT branches. Who can give me a reason why cybersecurity stand out or remain the big brother of IT? Who wants to try? Anybody want to try? No?
I'm going to say, you can't outsource your compliance because compliance deals with rules and regulations. So you have to make sure you have that in the country. Plus, you can't just give that to AI, a machine, because it's just so sensitive. That's my point of view.
All right, Deborah, please. Yeah, Deborah, you can go ahead. I think you raised your hand up.
So I'm going to say cybersecurity is the umbrella that protects all of the arms of IT. And without cybersecurity, all their jobs, everything they do, their data and all of that will be compromised. So cybersecurity is very, very important. They cannot do without it.
Excellent. Yeah, who else wants to try?
Comments in the chat.
Oh, comment in the chat? Okay. Good evening. Keep hosting, have another meeting because it didn't involve technical know-how. Okay. Somebody said I should have another meeting. I don't know. Keep hosting. Coach Berry.
No, they're saying they have another meeting.
Oh, got you. I'm recording though. Okay, because it does involve technical know-how. Winston, yeah. Not that it doesn't involve technical know-how. You have domains in security that is really, really technical. I think you joined late when I mentioned about my colleague. He's the opposite of me, okay? I'm a little bit technical, but not as technical as him. The guy can literally lose me when it comes to the analytics side in security. He's highly technical, like highly technical. But I tell you what, the fact that he is technical, he's currently working as an ISO. Now he needs me. And that's why I tell people it doesn't matter what you do, compliance first, it actually consideration. You need to understand compliance before even thinking of going, the technical session piece is good, right? But me analyzing this session for us to see that you do not need to be a technical person to start your cybersecurity career, because most people feel like I need to go start as a help desk support. I need to go do ethical hacker. I need to go do this. You do not need to do all of this because I did it. And my only security certification, if I'm honest with you guys, the only security certification I currently have is CompTIA Security Plus, right? With CompTIA Security Plus, I'm able to have as an ISO, have an offer letter as a director. That's one of the things I always tell people, I do not have security clearance. I'm not ready for security clearance. And that's why I tell people, what do you have on your resume? Are you able to back up your skill? Are you able to beat the ATS system if you are struggling to ace interviews, right? You just take, how can I put it? Just know what you're looking for, your goal, what you are definitely looking at, targeted, and you definitely get that job, okay? Of course, also with the right person to guide you. So thank you all for those responses. Yes, as you all said, security is the umbrella. Security, when it comes to compliance, is a must. There are areas in security that I might just say before we even go, SOC analyst. If you are a typical SOC analyst, I will tell you to learn other skill and see how you want to start making transitions. If there's one area in security that would definitely things can be replaced, is SOC analyst. Actually, organization already we have what they call security orchestration and automation response, SWA, that literally takes care of that. And a lot of organizations outsource that area in security to offshore for cheaper labor. Okay? Because I call them the cybersecurity CNAs. They are the backbone. They are the one monitoring the network. They are the one resolving whatever incidents an organization might have. But you see this compliance thing, they can never will they outsource it, and AI can never take over it because they need you. It's mandatory. We're going to go there shortly. Organization needs to do it. If you don't do it and you get hacked or you get breached, think of the fines that you're going to pay. Think of your reputation. We live in a competitive world. You have a lot of clients, right? Definitely you're going to lose customers or clients. And that's why you see compliance in security, again, as I said, you can do your due diligence. It's something that yeah, go ahead, please. Right? It's something that we really want to think of it, right? So security, as we have discussed, it says, again, is a protection of information system and its underlying IT infrastructure. You have different roles like security control assessor, third-party vendor risk analyst, risk and compliant analyst or manager, IT security specialist, security engineer, ISO. There are just plenty and plenty of rules. As a matter of fact, security have over 8 domains, right? So when I see people saying that security, is super saturated, in my head, I'm like, did you even conducted some form of research, right? Because there are just plenty of things in security that one can definitely have a job. And if you look at our scope, remember when we went through the scope of those other folks, we didn't really see protection. They were talking of efficient, smooth days, right? Basically, we'll start talking of data protection, threat management, policy development or creation, security technologies. And our primary focus is safeguarding information system from threats, ensuring CIA Triad. If you are in security, this is going to be your keyword, CIA Triad. That is something that you're going to make mention until you retire. Okay? Because there's no cybersecurity or IT. You cannot be talking of cybersecurity or IT without understanding the concept of CIA Triad. We feel like we understood it until we start working on those projects where you have to identify the criticality of data and giving a score based on the CIA Triad. And you understanding that before, when an incident occurs or a data breach occurs, then you are actually categorizing that based on CIA Triad. Any question on this, guys? So I have, I think, a 5-minute video that I just want to play on the slide. Why cybersecurity, key points why cybersecurity is a big brother in IT. And you guys should let me know if you can hear it or not. I think, let me see.
Why cybersecurity remains the big brother of IT. Hello.
Can you forget it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
it's clear.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm also gonna expand my screen. You guys can
Hello,
see better.
everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about
1 minute.
why cybersecurity remains the big brother of IT. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about why cybersecurity stands as the big brother of IT, overseeing and protecting the various branches within the information technology domain. Understanding IT and its branches. Firstly, let's understand the different branches of IT. Networking, this involves designing, implementing, and managing networks that allow data to be shared and communicated efficiently across devices. Database administration. This is about managing and maintaining databases to ensure data is available, secure, and efficiently stored. Systems administration. This involves managing the IT infrastructure, including servers, hardware, and software, ensuring they operate smoothly. Project management. Project managers plan, execute, and close projects, ensuring they are completed on time, within scope, and within budget. Software development. This involves designing, coding, testing, and maintaining software applications. IT support. This includes providing assistance to users experiencing technical difficulties, ensuring minimal downtime and efficient operation. Why cybersecurity is the big brother. Now, let's delve into why cybersecurity is considered the big brother of IT. Comprehensive protection. Cybersecurity provides a protective umbrella over all IT branches. Whether it's securing a network, protecting data in databases, ensuring system integrity, or safeguarding software applications, cybersecurity is crucial. It proactively defends against threats that can disrupt or compromise IT functions. Policy development. Cybersecurity involves the development and enforcement of policies that dictate how data and systems should be handled and protected. These policies ensure compliance with industry regulations such as GDPR, HIPAA, and others, impacting every aspect of IT operations. Data integrity and confidentiality. One of the primary goals of cybersecurity is to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data, commonly referred to as the CIA Triad. This is vital for all IT branches, from ensuring secure communications in networking to maintaining data accuracy in databases. Advanced threat detection and response, cybersecurity involves continuous monitoring, threat detection, and response mechanisms. Unlike other IT branches that focus on functionality and efficiency, cybersecurity is always on the lookout for potential threats, ready to mitigate them swiftly to protect the organization's IT infrastructure. Regulatory compliance. Ensuring that the organization adheres to legal and regulatory requirements is a key aspect of cybersecurity. This not only protects the organization from legal repercussions, but also instills trust among clients and stakeholders, influencing how all IT functions manage data and processes. In conclusion, cybersecurity stands as the big brother of IT because it provides comprehensive protection, develops crucial policies, ensures data integrity, detects and responds to threats, and ensures regulatory compliance. Without cybersecurity, the entire IT structure would be vulnerable to attacks, data breaches, and operational disruptions. By understanding and appreciating the pivotal role of cybersecurity, we can ensure that our IT infrastructure remains robust, secure, and resilient against the ever-evolving cyber threats. Thank you for your attention, and let's continue to prioritize cybersecurity in all our IT
Okay. Any question on that?
endeavors.
How to end slideshow. Okay. Any question on that? Are we good? Guys, help me.
No question.
Okay. Thank you. I know people understand, right? All right, because we're going to cover this shortly. Why, again, cybersecurity is considered a big part of IT. The only reason I spent some time working on this slide is for us to have a good picture as to what cybersecurity entails. Because as I said, we have a sea of information, right? I'm on social media platform. What I am seeing, if I was struggling to get into cybersecurity or IT, with some of those responses out there, I'm just going to give up. It can be so discouraging, right? Again, and that's why I always tell people, try and conduct research. Carry out your own research. Don't just come and rely on people to give you responses and you feel like I'm just going to take their responses. No, word by mouth, what they just said. No, you have to carry out your own research. Okay? Yeah, so that being said, and if you guys need a break, you let me know. Can we continue or you guys need a short break?
Do you know how long the session is for?
It's 2 hours. So the next, I'll say 50 minutes is gonna.
Okay, maybe we can do a break. At least I'm voting for that. I don't know about others.
Well, let's continue.
I think we should continue because it's gonna be Princeton. So
Okay, so we're gonna continue. I'm recording the session though, and if you people can get my number, we have a community group that if you want to be part of it, that'll be great. Or let me know how I can share this, this recording. But this recording can only go to our community group because, I have it on our Zoom cloud. Right? All right. So the very first thing that video mentioned, it talked of comprehensive protection. Cybersecurity is an umbrella, right? It said it provides an overarching layer of protection for all IT branches, ensuring that networks, databases, system, and application are secure for threats. And that's where when you are working against from compliance side, I'm big on compliance, then you realize that when you meet with these people, you tell them what to do, right? You literally tell them what to do. We definitely do awareness training. Even DevOps engineer, when we are doing all the tabletop exercises or disaster recovery, again, when I work as a DBA, we have to do a disaster recovery, right? Where you have to do a failover. So you guys have a secondary side of your data center. Not right now, everything is in cloud, but still you have to do that. Like a tabletop exercise, still security is the one to come up with that. And because those are all security controls. I didn't know, I know we were just doing it. I didn't have like a good knowledge as to why we were doing it. But since I moved into security, then I understood better. And you are the one overseeing their activities. Before them managing the databases, we need to first of all understand and categorize the data type that goes to those databases. We identify the security controls. We work with them to make sure they are patching their system. They are taking their backup. You will see them taking those backup. Guess what? We have a policy that security keeps. That DBA will not have access to those backup, to their policies. And that's to tell that whatever thing that, it doesn't matter the branch in IT that people worked or belonged, still security definitely calls the shot, and security are the ones that oversee all the different activities. Okay. And then the second one is policy development. I'm going to spend some time here because I think I have some students in this class. One thing I'll tell you people, I've had situation of people coming from different schools that they said they just want to do training for 2 months. And I'm being honest, I told them, if you're coming here, if you like in 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, I want to get a job, then UST is not for you. Because one of the things that we do is like hands-on projects. So that when you're looking for your job, whatever thing you have on your resume, you can literally back it up. Those are projects you have worked on. And policy development is one of the things that you can ask them. I think it took them like 1 month just to do the projects. If you understand how to develop policy, then you can work as a manager, because security policies are dependent on security controls. Okay? They are dependent on security controls. So once you understand security controls, then you can properly develop your security policies. So what are security policies? They are the written documents that tells you on what an organization does. Without these policies, there's no organization. No organization. Policies are the moment of truth. Okay? Say, for example, an organization wants to develop an app where you have to work with developers for them to develop that app in-house, an application in-house. Security will first of all, okay, this thing that we want to do, what kind of data we will be collecting, housing, and processing? Who are those users that will be accessing these systems? Is this system going to be interfacing with other systems? We need to understand all of those. Most importantly, everything, you have it on your policy. And that's why I said that without a policy, there's no organization. And for some of you, I don't know if you have a job in the government sector. Once information system, you cannot imagine how many policies that information system have. Just one. And then come to think of all the different information systems, thousands of or hundreds of information systems that an organization have. You need to develop policies for it, right? And still, security keep and maintain these policies. So when anybody or independent assessor are coming in to assess your system, your controls, the first thing they're going to be asking are your policies. They will read on your policy what your policy says, and then before they can even carry out any form of testing. So they are definitely testing against your policies, but you should have a policies before anything can take place. Okay? Like DBAs, they will tell you that this, they patch their databases or they conduct backup of their databases. Your policy will have to determine what kind of backups do you guys perform? Are you doing a full backups? Are you doing an incremental backups? Are you doing a differential backups? Okay, you guys don't need to know all of this word, but that's to tell you that whatever thing that they are doing, even from the networking side, when they are configuring all those firewalls, you have like different ports and protocols, your policy definitely have all of those documented. And that's again to tell you that without a security policy, there's no organization. I think somebody have a question. Okay, Priscilla, yeah, that's fine. We want people to, I think, admit somebody, please. We have people to drop their number. Priscilla, you can put my number on the chat. That way they can reach. I think that's better. Did you
Okay.
hear me? Yeah, I think just put my number on the chat and then the different, I think like our different social handle. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. So I think we are all good with policy development. Alfred, I think somebody is trying to be admitted. I just saw something like Lauren. Okay. So the next one is CIA Triad. We'll just talk on policy development. Remember, we are going through the reason why cybersecurity remains the big brother of IT. We'll talk about the very first one is comprehensive protection. Second one is policy, very, very important. And just to tell you all that you being a USC student, this is a project, actually hands-on is a must. I tell people if you cannot do them and then don't come to the school, okay? Because when you get a job, how are you going to sustain it? How are you going to keep it if you cannot do these projects, right? Yeah, so this is something that we also want to pay attention to. All right, and then the next one is CIA Triad that we're going to discuss. Hopefully we have time. If not, on Monday, we're going to go in depth. As I said, in security or IT, this is the backbone, right? So anything that we do in security actually boils down to the CIA Triad concept: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We're going to discuss in depth. I'm not really going to spend much time on it because we're going to go through each component of the CIA Triad, get a good understanding of what it entails. Okay. Then the next one is advanced threat detection and response. You will agree with me. You guys have seen all the different threat things happening in the world, right? Even I think ChatGPT got hacked all the time. Bank of America, So no matter what we do, and security people, well, we'll go in we are more proactive, right? We categorize our information system. We take the proactive measures to be able to reduce the impact level or security risks that we might have. But the truth is that putting all of this thing in place, back in our head, we know that there's still that possibility or that likelihood that, you know what, a risk can happen. A vulnerability can be exploited that can actually take advantage of the CIA Triad, right? And this is where we still have controls, incident response, where they will tell you, you know what, you have a stringent security posture in place. But guess what? Even if I get hacked, this is the method I'm going to do. Maybe you guys must have heard of incident response, right? Post-incident. You know that you still have a stringent policy in place, but the truth is there's no guarantee because of exactly advanced threat detection and response. I always say that we are one step behind the hackers. Those people are ahead of us. That is true. We are definitely going behind them, right? And that's why if you guys must have heard of zero-day vulnerabilities. I don't know if you've heard a vulnerability where once it's discovered, the vendor have not had patch for it yet, either Microsoft or Apple. So once they discover it, especially the one in the wild, it's a matter of minutes. They can bypass all your security control that you have in place, right? And again, these are things that would definitely keep happening, and more so with the whole AI coming in, automation coming in, then it more loophole possibility that will always keep having this, and that calls back on continuous monitoring, doing it over and over and over again. Then, most importantly, are the regulatory authorities. Most importantly, regulations. I will still say this, even if you are a technical person, I will still advise you to understand compliance. Okay, I actually came from the technical side to compliance, and I'm enjoying it so much, right? Because even tomorrow, as I said, my colleague, he's an ISO, but he has to sit with me. I have to like literally go through this with him for him to understand, right? Because he's just a technical person. But there's no way you can work as an ISO or a manager without you understanding the compliance. And of course, as we said, the compliance again is literally the backbone of everything. So we have different regulatory authorities. You might ask me, what are these regulatory authorities I'm saying? These are just set of laws that they've made mandatory for organization to adhere with. Of which, if you do not adhere with these regulatory authorities, it's not a matter of obligatory or a might, it's a must. It's mandatory, right? Of which, if you do not do it, then you have fines that you're going to pay. And come to think of the fact that maybe I can just sacrifice $50 to take care of my issues. You definitely penny one pound foolish. You don't want to sacrifice that $50, but you get breach. First and foremost, maybe your data, your users' data, they are all exposed. And then you have a fine of millions. Who is a loser at the end of the day? And it's because, I'll tell you all, in as much as organizations are doing all to protect our data, it's because of this regulatory authority that me and you will get jobs today. Because they enforces it, they make it mandatory, so you do not have an option. It's a must, you gotta do it. And that's why, not of this regulatory authority, believe me or not, I don't think some of us, because they will not do, they don't really care. But because they don't have an option, they gotta do it. Okay? And start thinking of all the different regulatory authorities we have. For example, in the US, we have FISMA, we have FedRAMP for the US government, but now it's open to everyone, even UST, our organization can adhere to FISMA or FedRAMP. Okay? But these are things that, again, is going to come like hands-on with projects. Okay? I just wanted you all guys, if you don't have a background of this, I'm just like touching the surface, okay? So these are all the set of laws that they've made it mandatory for organizations to adopt so as to better protect your data and my data, right? For example, they'll tell you, if you are collecting somebody's social security number, right? Collecting, especially like in a healthcare system, if we go to a healthcare system where they start collecting like our critical information, insurance company are collecting your, like literally your information, critical information. By default, they have to be in compliance with high trust, of which HIPAA actually come under high trust. High trust is a regulatory authority. As a matter of fact, I have a conference with them on Wednesday, the 11th of June. Right. So high trust is that regulatory authority that has made it mandatory. And it's not a matter of, you know what? If I'm collecting this kind of information, I gotta be in compliance with them. And for you to be in compliance with them, you need security folks to help you achieve this compliance. And once you achieve this compliance status, you have to maintain them. And that's the beautiful thing I love about security, because maintaining those certificates, it comes with, you know what, the continuous monitoring aspect that we've mentioned, where we are assessing, we are scanning, we are doing this, we keep doing it over and over and over again. You get, think of FISMA FedRAMP, it's a must. When if you go to a healthcare system, as a matter of fact, if you guys, Priscilla, can you also put our domain on the chat group, that way they can visit our website. We have free videos on PCI DSS, right? In a financial sector. For example, how many of you goes to Walmart, I have to do the self-checkout? Me, I always go to self-checkout. By default, if a company collects, processes, credit card or debit card information, you must be in compliance with PCI DSS. Things, and that's why I want to tell you that it's not at the level of that company, it's at the level of the information system. So when you go to Walmart, you see the point of sale, the machine where you have to put your credit card. That is an information system. That one thing is an information system on its own. Think of all the different information system. Even when you go to an ATL stop that you have to do transaction, it's an information system. So that one particular information system must be in compliance with PCI DSS. Think of all the different information systems that collects, processes, store, or other credit cards transactions. Get the point? So this is to tell you that think of all the different sector or regulatory authorities that we have, from the federal side of the house to financial to healthcare to international bodies. Actually, GDPR to me is the strongest regulatory authority in the world, which is mandatory for all European Union. Anybody by default, if you collect, processes, or store a European citizen data, you have to be in compliance with PCID and with GDPR. Now, computer has digitized. A lot of company partner do stuff in Europe. So you have an organization that have 2, 3, or more regulatory authorities. Do you know how many cybersecurity folks they will need to help them achieve those compliance statuses and for them to be able to maintain them? It's a lot. Okay? And that's why I said, once you have a good picture of all the different regulatory authority, going now for a third-party vendor rigs is like as easy as ABC. Like me, I can literally close my eyes and onboard a vendor because I know what I'm looking for, right? And think of the fact that now, again, let's talk a little bit about a third-party vendor. Everybody's going to cloud. That's where it becomes so interesting. There are situations where you meet with your vendor, you have to literally educate them because they don't know. And guys, I'm telling you, this thing is easy. Once you know, you'll be educating people you already know at your job, right? So a vendor is coming to you, that's your vendor, but guess what? That vendor is outsourcing your data to another vendor. It makes it more interesting. And some of them, they will do stuff like that and they will not tell you. And that's where you have to read. So you are working for your vendor. You are also bypassing your vendor. Say a vendor come to UST, collect our data. That's our immediate vendor. But guess what? They are outsourcing it to maybe Azure or AWS. So you have like double load. You are dealing with your direct vendor, and then you are doing that's your third-party vendor, and then you're also dealing with your fourth-party vendor. But guess what? You might work with your third-party vendor that, guess what? They have a stringent security in place. But what happened to your fourth party? That's to tell you that when it comes to security, your main focus is especially when you are dealing with vendors, who is collecting that data and who is housing the data. Our main concern is, are you getting direct integration into our systems? How are you collecting our data? And who is going to house it? And that's why you start requesting all these policy things that we've mentioned, start collecting their report, to see if they have stringent security practices in place. Okay? So regulatory authority, at the end of the day, is the short, because without regulatory authority, you cannot develop policies. Regulatory authority is the one telling you that depending on the type you go with, once you've identified your data types, then you have to develop security policies. Once you develop security policies, then you need to get the set of controls. I mean, you have to categorize your system. Once you categorize your system to know the impact level of confidentiality, integrity, and availability, then you need to determine a set of controls. But everything, again, is because of the regulatory authorities, okay? And the fact that there's always going to be that threat, that, threat that we need to literally keep scanning our system and remediating it. Any question? Are we good?
Doing good.
Thank you. Guys, at least let me just say something yes on the session. No comment. Let me just know. Yeah, somebody said NIST, HIPAA. Actually, RL, NIST is not a regulatory authority, okay? NIST is a standard on a guidance, right? HIPAA itself is not really a regulatory authority. High Trust is a regulatory authority. Then you have standards that helps you, implement those set of rules, okay? GDPR is one, PCI DSS is one, FISMA, FedRAM, and High Trust, okay? So before you to implement FISMA or FedRAM, then you need the NIST, right? But this is something that we're going to discuss in depth. Okay. All right. At least let me get some form of like confirmation to know everything is going well. That I'll proceed, guys, please. Even just put a group. You know what? That's helped me. It's hard for you to just teach and you are not getting no confirmation, right? You don't even know if people are understanding. And yeah.
It's interesting.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate it. Whew, it's not easy though. All right. Now, I always tell my student, and they can relate to you, once you understand CIA, you hear it in the talk of risk management, is CIA. Yeah. This is the backbone of IT and cybersecurity in particular. You need to understand what CIA is, how you can achieve CIA, how do you even categorize your system to come up with the impact level based of CIA, and then the risk level was the impact to CIA. So understanding this, as I said, is the backbone in cybersecurity. C stands for confidentiality, I stands for integrity, A stands for availability. So talking of confidentiality, at times I try and repeat myself over the skills and over again. That way, if somebody actually misses the first time, they can pick it the second time. So permit me, that's just me. Okay, I like to repeat myself over and over again. So confidentiality is to ensure that data is unavailable to an unauthorized users in enough share, give access to only people who can access or authorize users. Let's go to a hospital setting where you have doctors. You have different type of doctors. Cardiovascular, whatever, right? Gynecologists, you can name them. You have nurses, you have medical technicians, you have CNAs. These are all different personnel that work for that hospital, but it doesn't mean that they will have the same privileges or permissions. And that's where confidentiality is a big thing. Giving access to only people who have the right permission to access that particular data. Okay? A CNA, I think they have the minimal privileges. I was once a CNA anyways. I worked for like 3 years when I moved to the country. So, you know what, you do your, how they call that thing, daily activities or something like that. When they eat, you feel all those things, you have to document, right? A nurse will have different privileges. A med aid or technician will have different privileges. And that's where I want us to pay attention here, because when we start hearing of data breaches, we want to check who have seen something that they are not supposed to see. Okay. And confidentiality is attained. They say example, secure communication, personal data protection. And one of the ways that confidentiality is being obtained is through encryption. Who have heard the word encryption? And if yes, what is encryption? What do you understand by encryption? Nobody?
Making data unreadable to unauthorized users?
Absolutely, right? So you make that data useless. You render it useless. Not that the data on its own is useless, but if an unauthorized users get it, they won't be able to read that particular data, right? And one of the main and most important security controls, always have that argument in my team. Well, like, tell me, what's the most important security controls? I think all the controls are important, but to me, access control is the most important security controls, right? Control family. You have access control, which confidentiality can also be obtained via access control, where first you have to have, it's been actually broken down into 3 components. You have identification, authentication, and authorization, right? So in my previous free session, I will go to Facebook and demonstrate this, but this is something that I will explain, right? So when it comes to identification, is a unique username. For example, if you go to Facebook, or if you want to log in on your laptop, you already have maybe your unique username, you already have that username, then you have to put a password, right? But on Facebook, the very first thing that you're going to put, or Instagram, excuse me, is your unique username, right? Again, once you have that unique username, it has to match the authentication method. That's the password that you're going to put. So once you put the right password, then you'll be able to log into your Facebook, right? If you put the right password, they'll be able to access my laptop. So same thing happened here. So once an organization, when some of you get your job, they'll create a unique username, then they'll give you like maybe a temporary password that you can definitely change the password later. But that password will have to match your identity. Once it matches your identity, then you'll be given accountability access. That's how you are able to access your Facebook, right? You are able to access your Facebook because your identity and your password, which is the authentication method, it matches. So once you are authenticated, you are given access to those resources. So once you go to Facebook on your account, then you can see photos or pictures that your friend posted, even your own information. You already have access to that thing. But guess what? This is also the privileges or permission that you have been given to be able to access that, right? If somebody have your Facebook username with a wrong password, they won't be able to access it. Do you know why? Because of the concept of confidentiality. Does it make sense? The concept of confidentiality. Right. And that's why they say give access to just those who are authorized to see that thing. Right. And then the concept of authorization. So once you've been authenticated, authorization is you having access to an organization resources. And I've always told my students, I always tell people, once you are in, guys, be professional to your highest level. When I used to be as a CA, as a DBA, there was a lot of things that I did not understand. I'm not kidding. I have my coworker that we used to work, right? There were times that we're supposed to go to the office. I'm only saying this now. We'll be at home and they will call us, Eunice, where are you guys? It's like, no, we are in the office. Because we're just the 2 of us actually going to the office, in that area. But other things, they were in different states. Little did I knew that they were scanning our geographic location. Right? I didn't know. I was an Oracle DBA. I did not know. So why I'm saying this is that once you have your laptop, guys, your company laptop, There's no way you can exfiltrate, there's no way you can send information out that you are not supposed to. You just have to be accountable, because everything that you do definitely has been like, they can track it, especially you security people and older privileged users in the database or in the system, DBAs and all those things, right? They have like set of rules that if you want to send something out, we'll go in depth IDs and the rest. It would definitely block it. Our situation where people are trying to send out information like important files, it block it, and you know the people that will go to them will converse to security. How are you going to explain to them what were you even trying to get people's information out of the network? Why? Right. So, and that's the authorization aspect. They have given you the right privileges or permissions for you to access those resources. And that's why you just want to be professional, because you will be accountable. As a matter of fact, we have what they call digital signature, your Outlook, where you are sending stuff, right? The technical part in security actually explains that. When people are prepared, Security Plus explains that. There's no way you can come and say that, you know what, it wasn't me. You can never refuse their action because you have the proof, right? I forgot the cybersecurity word to use. So these are some of the ways that confidentiality can be obtained. Again, as we said, confidentiality is just to ensure that information is accessible only to authorized user. And this tells you that, guess what? If we're hearing the word data breach, if a user, somebody get access to a data or see a data that they are not allowed to see, that's when we start talking of data breaches. What is the impact level? If confidentiality has been breached, what is the impact level? Is it low? Is it moderate? Is it high? Based on the type of data that that particular information system collect or house. Okay, and that's why it's important for us to understand this concept. That way, once you have data breaches, then you can like literally understand what's happening out there. Okay. If you guys have any question, guys, please let me know. I think there's a group chat. Okay. Well, that's the encoding data. Thank you. So cryptographic concept, we'll talk about encryption. These are some of the ways that just like have this that way we can visualize it, especially for somebody who is trying to get started into IT, okay? So say this is a data that I want to send. This one is what we call a plain text, right? Plain text, like I have this thing on my piece of paper, this you can read from it. But once it's been encrypted, this is what they call ciphertext, right? So you cannot read that thing. Okay? It's have the ciphertext. So even if a hacker get access to that data, it's useless. It has scrambled it. So it's definitely useless. So let's see right here. The next picture actually shows that very well. So do you see? That's your cipher. So this, once you've done it, you have, you see, encrypted, which this is it. This is the encrypted format. Then you have all of this, you see, like you have like random characters. This one is just like a simplified version, right? But you have like random characters that, again, Security Plus, that's like an in-depth concept, right? Still, that's to tell you that with the concept of encryption, once an information or data is encrypted, then it makes it useless, such that when an unauthorized user get it, they will not be able to read from it. Okay? And if we go back to confidentiality, one of the things I forgot is that at the level of the organization, we spend a lot of time protecting data from the outsider, from the bad guys. But the highest risks are your user, people within. Okay? People within, people inside. You'll be hearing of things like insider threats. That one is even more dangerous because they already have everything already, right? And also even within your user, like in the case of a CNA, come to think of it, a CNA have access to like, give access to like, is it a medication or something? think you have, how do they call those people? Is it med aid, or I don't know. Those folks that administer medications, I forgot. I think it's med aid. Yeah. So imagine a CNA getting access to that, and they don't even know what kind of medications. Maybe you go and give a wrong medication to a patient, and that patient dies. Right? That's the highest form of data breach that can happen when somebody dies. So at this level, when we are thinking of a breach that has occurred, what happened? Confidentiality was breached. What is the impact level that confidentiality was breached? It is hard. How did it happen? An unauthorized user, which is you're authorized, of course, that person work for your company, but because of the fact that that person have unlimited privileges, they abuse it, and it actually results to the loss of somebody, right? Somebody died. And that's why you are thinking of the data breach, right? So I just want you all to see it in that aspect, but not necessarily in the case where someone will have to die, but you also have the fact that, data can be exposed, okay? Then again, still, this is the process again of encryption for you guys to see. For example, one of the method is Caesar cipher, where Julius Caesar, so you have like this text, I have a secret text. So with this kind of encryption, of course, they don't use it anymore. So initially, you have to move 3 places to the right, right? For this text, they say attack at dawn. So you move 3 places to the right, your A becomes your D, right? And then your T becomes your W. So when you move 3 places to the right, so this word, attack at dawn, this is the encryption code, right? This is a cipher, right? So if you take this thing, you see it, you don't even understand what the thing is, right? But of course, once the recipient actually get it, then they'll be able to decrypt it with a rightful key, then they can read the message. But again, this is just to show you all how encryption works at a basic level. Then integrity is simply tells us of the fact that, remember we make mention of transit over the internet. Tell me, everything happens over the internet a lot nowadays, but you want to make sure that if everything is going over the internet, the integrity of that thing should be maintained. Integrity should not be tampered with. You all believe, I think we all, we pay attention to our integrity, our reputation, right? So likewise, in a computer world, when you are transmitting data, you want to make sure that integrity has not been maintained. I mean, it's been maintained, sorry, it has not been tampered with. And there's a common form of cyber attack where you're man in the middle attack, right? Somebody eavesdropping and listening to people's information and playing around with stuff. And that's why it is very, very important. Like, for example, even talking to you guys on Zoom, that's why I have to put the button that they have to admit you to attend this. I think next session I'm going to remove it because lots of people could not go to, I don't know why, right? Still, these are just formed to make sure that, hey, people who are coming in, they are serious, we have to admit them, right? Or sending stuff, I'm sharing a lot of stuff over the internet. I need to make sure that somebody will not take it and play with it before you guys definitely receive it or get it, right? And that's the concept of integrity. But a way where integrity is being maintained is what we call hashing, right? Where you have to compare 2 hash values. So when I used to work as a DBA, I always fall back on my experiences. Honestly, I used to do these things, but I didn't even know what I was doing, to be honest with you all. Right? For example, if I want to patch my database, I work as an Oracle DBA. So I'll go to the Oracle website, I will download a patch. I'll bring it to my server, to the server that I want to patch. After I have transported it through WinSCP, is a tool or an information system that in security, I'll put it out to my server, then I have to patch. But one of the things that I know my lead told me, I didn't know why I used to do that. You said, Eunice, make sure you compare the hash values. So when you go to the Oracle website, you have a hash value, random characters that you copied. Then once you come to your system, by the time you bring that particular software, because they're also software, even the database is a software, okay? By the time you bring it, you need to have a second set of value. That's a second hash values, right? So for you to be able to determine the integrity of that particular thing, to compare these two hash values. Do you see right here? Hash text. So said that, just say I went to Oracle website, I have this text. If I bring it to my own system, I should be able to have the same text. If not, I cannot trust the integrity of that file. And to even make this more interesting, you will even have encrypted content that have been hatched. Because the fact that you have encryption in place doesn't mean that they cannot bypass it. No, they can literally bypass it. And that's where you can still hatch that encrypted content. Then you compare your hash values to make sure that that file has not been tampered with. I'm not kidding. Hackers are one of the most smartest people on earth. They are so smart. Okay? So once you compare those hash values, if there's a match, then you can trust the integrity of the file. But if it doesn't match, then no. But are you going to be doing this? Because some people will ask a question, are you going to be doing this? Like verifying and all of those? No. They already have tools in place that have put in place that whatever file that, because me and you at work, we have to go to the internet, we have to do things, right? So when we are doing all of those, that tool automatically check it for us. And if there's anything that, the value doesn't really correspond, it will flag it out. It will block it. Okay? And that's where you can go there and then investigate and see what really happens. So this is a typical example of a hashing algorithm. If you see I have two words, who can tell me the difference of those words? I just want somebody to check and tell me, what do you observe?
Are you asking for the difference between hello world?
Just tell me, what did you observe there?
There's uppercase W on the other one.
And what else? What happened to the ciphertext, to the hash?
Completely different.
Exactly. So if you look at it here, the only thing that has changed is the W. Can you guys see that? This is a lowercase, this is an uppercase. And that's to tell you that when you are sending a file, even it's just a letter or a number that change, it completely changed that hash value. If you see, this is the original hash value. Somebody get it and change that word, excuse me, it changes the hash value. And that's why I said, to be able to make sure that integrity is maintained, it has not been tampered or modified, we need to make sure that the hash value are right. Okay? And then the last concept for today, before we go to Rick's, I was thinking we're going to cover the next one, is availability, right? So it's to tell us that data should be available at any given point in time when you want to access it, right? So the concept of CIA Triad, C for confidentiality, data available for just authorized users, integrity, no modification, or data cannot be tampered with, availability, data should be available at any given point in time. I think you guys must have heard of news reports where we have ransomware, where they'll bring an organization system, literally everything's down. And I think one of the health insurance companies suffered from a serious data breach. I believe I shared with you guys, I cannot recall. Is it United Healthcare? Yeah. You guys can go read on their data breach, right? So this is another aspect where will tell us, you know what, we have to make sure data is available at any given point in time. And I want to tell you that it's not a matter of organization determining if the data has to be available. Remember, the regulatory authority we mentioned, they have those things, those laws that forces you guys to do it. I recall in the case of Southwest Airline, that was in think 3 years back, if not 2021, during Thanksgiving weekend. It's Thanksgiving weekend when people were stranded at the airport because of the fact that I think their system literally went down. I don't know if anybody experienced that, where their software or the main system that helped with them scheduling flights, it was outdated. They have an outdated software, and they had severe winter storm or bad weather that affected that. That was a disaster. And I think they have to pay fines. Yeah, they did. Because when stuff like that happen, of course, you guys will be investigated, and once they have the root cause of those, something that you guys are supposed to have the most current software, a big company like that, actually, I fly a lot with them, but for some time, I stopped flying with them. I just resumed because they are cheap, right? I just started flying with them because I was so scared. Like, how can they do that, right? Again, that's just to tell you that there are those things that organization will need to still have security people to make sure that we are not only doing it, but in as much as we are abiding with the regulatory authorities, we also need to make sure that we do all it takes to make sure data should be available at any given point in time. Guys, any question? I'll save 2 minutes. And the most interesting one is for us to understand vulnerability, threats, and security risks, and then relate it to CIA Triad. Once you understand these 6 concepts, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, how they are related to risks in particular, and what role does risk plays in conjunction with threats and vulnerability, that's your life in cybersecurity. Okay? So any question?